Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to today's video where we're going to be installing a new garage heater. So today I've got a Newair G73 garage heater. It is electric, 240 volt hardwired heater that I'm going to be putting in my garage here to hopefully get me a little extra heat here for the winter months so I can keep my projects and keep working along during the winter here. Alright, before we get into the actual installation, take a minute to talk through I guess why I went with the Newair G73 instead of some of the other garage heating options out there. So it really came down to electric versus propane. I could go propane and you can get some of the cheaper options and that are portable and they can attach to a propane tank but the problem is with those, you really need to be, those are really best for some outdoor spaces or, you know, a vented area with some fresh airflow. So with something like that, you really need to keep your garage door open or crack your side door or open some windows so you get some airflow in there so you don't have any buildup of, you know, potentially carbon monoxide. So that really wasn't an option because I think that kind of really defeats the purpose of a garage heater. If you're going to have to keep the door open, I figured that's really not the right option for me. So the second propane option is to go with a vented propane system, which something like a resonator where you mount on the ceiling typically and you plumb in propane to it and you have a vent stack going out the side of the garage. And those systems are actually great. They're great for workshops and garages. One problem with those is they're a little bit more of a install heavy, and certainly they're a lot more expensive to do. So those systems alone they're great, but probably a little too pricey for me. So I ended up deciding on going electric because I wanted it to be, you know, a safer option. And then rather than being a portable one you can move around, I figured something that would be hardwired in, especially 240, would give me enough heat for my space. So it's not a very big garage. It's a 3-bay garage. It is actually insulated, so it should maintain the heat pretty well. So I'm hopeful here. So this guy, it says it's rated for 560 square feet on the website. The box here, actually, you probably can't read that, but it says 750. So I was a little surprised when actually I got the box and saw it said 750 as opposed to the paperwork on the literature on the website said 560. So either way, should be adequate. Again, I'm not trying to, you know, heat the garage to, you know, 70, 80 degrees here. I just want to have something to take the chill out of the air and so your fingers don't get numb so you can actually keep working on projects here. So I live in New England, so it gets pretty cold in the winter, and you just need to have, you know, some heat. I think that would be enough for me here. So this seems to be like it'll be a good option for me. So we'll go through the install and see how it all works. One more thing I wanted to go over before I get into the install here is to talk a little bit about how I want to set it up and how I'm going to wire it. So it is 240, so it needs to run a brand new dedicated circuit to the panel, and it's rated for about 22 amps. So I need to put it on a 30 amp circuit. So I don't have one in the area of where I'm going to mount it, so I'm going to have to run a new circuit from the garage all the way to my panel. So I'll take you through that as well. But also want to take a minute to talk through how I want to actually control it. So it does have its own little switch and thermostat on it, but I really want to be able to control it with just your standard switch. But I want to have a smart switch, so in case I forget to turn it off, or I want to be able to just, you know, have it run on a short little timer. Let's put it on for 2 hours and, you know, take the edge off the garage so I'm not wasting too much energy here. So what I want to do is put a smart switch on here. The problem with this is not rated for the amount of current that is required when the heater is going to be running. It's also wrong voltage. These things run at the your standard, you know, 110, 120 volts, where this is going to be running at 240. So this isn't going to work, and they really don't make any smart switches for an application like this. There's not a whole lot out there. I found one that really doesn't have an interface. It's really to be mounted into and junction box, which then I really want something that I can manually turn on and off, as well as control it with my phone and have some timers and automatic shutoffs at night so it kicks it off before, you know, at whatever time I set it at. So I want to have some of that extra, you know, safety and turn-offs available. So what I'm going to end up doing is I want to take advantage of this, so I need to connect this on the 240. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire in a relay switch. So it's going to be a standard contactor where I'm going to be running it at a 110 coil. I'll hook it up to this. It'll run over to to a junction box where this is going to be wired in, and it will, when this switch is activated, it'll send a signal to the relay switch, and it will tell the contactor to activate and then take the current and let it pass to the heater. So I figure this is going to be a good option here for me in my application. Then another thing I'm going to do is I want to have a little indicator light to know that it's on. And yeah, it has, I believe, we'll get into the opening in a little bit, but I believe it has a little indicator light on the unit itself. But I'm looking for something a little bit more, I guess, in your face to let you know that it's on. So I don't want to be working in the garage on a project and shut everything down to go to bed and hit the lights and I forget the heater's still on. So I imagine I might still hear it, but I want to have a visual indicator that it's on. So right in the switch, what I'd like to do is wire up some indicator lights. So what I'm going to do is just get a junction box here. We mount the switch in one side. What I want to do is on the other side have some little indicator lights. So what I've got here is these little indicator lights that you would see on some industrial equipment. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put the link into the description below. But you can get these, and they're 110. You can get a lot of options out there for 12, 24. They're a few bucks for a pack of these. And then what I'm going to do is have something look like this, right? You'll have your switch here, and then I'll have a couple indicator lights. I mean, obviously this is for your standard light switch and outlets. This isn't really going to work because not the right size hole. So what I need to do is I'm going to have to make a custom little plate for this. So what we'll do is just take a blank, traced out. I don't know if you can really see that. I traced out what I'm going to do on the plate there. We'll cut that hole and we'll drill some holes to be able to mount this in. So what this is going to end up looking like is we'll have the switch, and then we'll have two indicator lights that'll glow bright orange here when the heater's on. So that way, and I'll mount it right next to the stairs where I'm going to be, leaving the garage. I'll be able to see and tell that the heater's on. So it'll be a nice visual indicator and reminder that I need to turn it off before I shut everything down for the night. Okay, here we go, getting ready for the installation. So here's where it's going to go in the garage. But it's going to end up going behind up here, and that way I will be able to turn it towards the center bay, or over here angle it towards me, which is where I will mostly be doing my projects in the workshop area. So what I'm going to do is mount it on the wall right here, right in the middle. I'm going to have over here, I'll put a switch with that little indicator light. I'll run conduit all the way down and put a T right here in the middle. Have it go up to a junction box up at the top where I mount it. I'll have the conduit kind of fall, come over here. I'll have to move the fridge out of the way, have the conduit come down behind, and I'll show you over here is where I've got it started. So now I've got right here, you've got the conduit coming in, going down to a junction box there. So another thing I wanted to point out was the conduit that I'll be using for the final connection to the heater. So what I've decided to go with is a flexible aluminum conduit. You can get this at your Lowe's, Home Depot, box store, already in small sections for you. Since I don't really use much of this, it was great just to get a 4-foot section designed to be used for just your appliance connection. So this is perfect for this. So it already comes with 3 sections of 10 gauge wire already ready to go. But this will give me the flexibility I need. So once I get the heater mounted up here. My workshop area is more over here, but let's say I'm doing something over here. This is where I have my 240 over here for my welder. So I'll be doing some metal working on this side of the garage. Most of my projects will be over here. So when I turn the heater, I wanted to have some flexibility in its connection there, so it doesn't strain or pull the wires or have any issues with the electrical connection. So there we go. This is perfect. Well, this wraps up part 1 of my garage heater install. I hope you guys thought it was useful and helpful, taking you through why I chose the Newair G73 and how I decided to set it up and wire it. So if you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel below. Also stay tuned here for part 2, where we're going to be finishing up the install of the garage heater, running the wires, pulling everything through the conduit, and making all the final connections and getting the switches and indicator lights working. So hopefully it all works and turns on, but we'll see. All right, see you guys next time.